Hello and welcome to another episode of Martin's Koi Pond. So now the pond is complete, I thought maybe I would do a feature on my fish. So hopefully what will follow will be a number of short clips where I'm going through each fish, why I like them, what I've called them because they're all named, and I'll also give the Japanese name if I know it. There you can see Yoda keeping an eye on the pond. My son saw him at a local garden centre and thought he'd be a fun statue to have around the pond. So the force is obviously strong with my pond. I think I'll leave the Star Wars jokes there. Right, I'll be back with some fish. Okay, down on the bottom you can see Tiger. He's our Hiyutsuri, which is a black and red fish, although he's a bit orangey at the minute, but hopefully he'll darken up as he gets older. And Tiger's a bit of a solitary guy. He likes to just swim around doing his own thing, doesn't really swim around with the others much. So that's Tiger. Here we have our platinum ogon, which we call Ghost. Now Ghost is another fish that likes to do its own thing. It likes to try and scavenge the bottom for anything that it can eat, although I don't think there's a lot down there because it's just a new pond, but he or she is constantly browsing the bottom of the pond. The barley straw extract in the water has actually discoloured Ghost a bit, makes her look a bit off-white, but she is, or he is, an absolutely stunning, beautiful white fish. This fish we call Jester. Now I'm not sure whether he is a Sankey or a Showa. I think it's a Sankey because there's no black on the head. Jester just likes to mooch about, doing its own thing. These ones that tend to swim around on their own are the easiest to film because the others are like all in a pack and are more difficult to film. And just in front of Ghost is my Chagoi, which is a silvery colour, silvery brown colour, smallest fish in the pond. We call him Chags. He's in the pond for a reason, because Chagoi get very friendly and docile, and that tends to rub off on the other fish, so he's in the pond for that reason. Here we have Spot, one of our two Kahaku. Kahaku are red on white fish. Spot is named Spot because of that little red spot just above his right eye. He's grown a lot since we've had him, or her, doing really well. Our all yellow fish, which is a Yamabuki ogon in the Japanese. He's gone under the edge now, I can't see him. There he is. We call him Lenny Lemon. Beautiful yellow fish, that one. And moving on from him, the black and white fish is a Shiro Utsuri, which we call Luna. Now Luna also has silvery scales down the back, which is known as Jinrin, and that's where my son named her, because of those glittery star-like scales along her back. Is a Harawaki type because it's got a bit of black on it, but that black is fading We call that fish honey. Harawakis are all white and yellow fish, and hopefully all the black will disappear. It's all gone off its head, and it'll be beautiful yellow and white fish. It's really growing fast, that fish. It's probably nearly doubled since I've had it. Now the multicoloured fish we call ash. Now I've no idea what he is. It's a white bodied fish with a lot of black and some red. So you'd think it's sort of a shower type fish, but it's not got a very black head. So I don't really know what you would call that fish. It's probably some sort of hybrid. But we call it ash. We like that fish. Now this fish here in the middle of the screen is called a kujaku, which we call kojak. Kujakus are orange fish with black highlighted scales, and they also have patches of white. Probably as this fish grows, it will lose some of the orange and get more white. Sorry. As I speak, he's gone out of camera. So now we have B. B is our kiyotsuri, which is a yellow and black fish. Lovely placid fish, this one. Feeds from the hand. Growing really well. Really like this fish. I like the colour patterns on it a lot. So we call that one B. Not too many I haven't done now. Mainly the three biggest. So let's have a look. Okay, this big red and white one, which is a kahaku, we call Bobby. It's the biggest fish in the pond, probably 35, getting on for 35 centimetres. Absolute bargain as well. And I really like it. It's probably my favourite fish in the whole pond. Although I do like the big Sankey, which is somewhere near here. There's the Sankey. It's the orange on white with black spots. We call that fish splodge because he's got a big splodge of a spot on his head, almost a bit like a tancho, but it's not a tancho shape splodge. But he's a Sankey, most expensive fish in the pond. He's by a breeder called Ifuchi, so he's a Japanese bred fish, and I really like him, or her. I think it's a him though. So I think I've named everything except for the Achiba, which is going to be the hardest to show on camera because he's a grey and brown fish. Now Achibas are known for being very placid like the chagoi, and my Achiba is really tame. He's already eaten out of my hand, and we call him Guts because it just eats and eats and eats. There he is. So he's called an Achiba. Beautiful fish. Again, he's by the breeder Ifuchi. And I believe that's all of them.